Welcome to Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California. It's the NFL on CBS. Today, an interconference matchup with the Chargers hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Hill, and welcome to beautiful Southern California on a magnificent day for professional football, as both these teams are coming off victories last week. But when you think about the San Diego Chargers, they have to be one of the hottest teams in the league. Over the last 6 games, they have a record of 5-1, as does Dallas, New Orleans, and San Francisco. So they are indeed in elite company. And I have the pleasure of working with Hank Stram this afternoon. And Hank, when you think about these San Diego Chargers and why they played so well, you immediately think of their quarterback in Stan Humphries.
Well, you do that because he's done a terrific job. He's completed 58% of his passes, has thrown 10 touchdown passes. But along with that, Jim, the other thing that jumps out at you when you think about the San Diego Chargers is the fact that their defense is playing so well. Bill Arnsberger has done a terrific job with the defense.
On the other side of the line of scrimmage for the Buccaneers, Vinny Testaverde starts for the 2nd consecutive week after being benched earlier in the year.
Well, it's a funny thing about Testaverde. You know, he's been there for several years, and I think everybody expects him to win every game they play. And that's not going to be the case. He averages about 25 passes a game. There's 60 offensive plays, 60 defensive plays, 32 specialty teams plays. So he's only involved in 25 of those as a passer. So everybody has to get to a level where they're contributing in every game, and that's what they have to do this afternoon to win this one against the San Diego Chargers.
It has not been a very pleasant journey for the Buccaneers to the West Coast. No California dreaming for them. They've only had 1 victory in 12 attempts coming in, 13 attempts coming out to the West Coast. And they're going to try and break that streak this afternoon. The Chargers have won the toss and have elected to receive. Kicking off for the Buccaneers, Eddie Murray. Back to receive deep for San Diego is Nate Lewis. Lewis's long return on a kickoff this year has been some 25 yards, and both teams know the importance of this game to them. Back with Lewis is Eric Bieniemy and Ronnie Harmon, and our ball game is underway. Nate Lewis, 3 yards deep in the end zone. Lewis across the 25 to the 28-yard line, and that's where the Chargers will take over 1st and 10. Tackle there made by Gary Lewis, pickup of 31 yards. Stan Humphries, fine quarterback for the Chargers, will be out at quarterback this afternoon. His offensive line, Harry Swain, Eric Moten, Courtney Hall, David Richards, Broderick Thompson, and Dwayne Young.
28-yard line.
The backs and receivers, Marion Butts, who should get a lot of action this afternoon. Derek Walker, Anthony Miller, the fine wide receiver, Nate Lewis. So it is 1st and 10. 2 tight ends now for San Diego. Humphries intended for Anthony Miller, and it is incomplete. Taking a look now at the Buccaneer defense. Santana Dotson, who leads the team in sacks with 9, is up front. And he will be joined by Ray Seals, Mark Wheeler, and Keith McCants. The linebackers, Jimmy Williams, Calvin Teagle, and Broderick Thomas. Secondary, Ricky Reynolds, Milton Mack, Darrell Fullington, and Marty Carter. 2nd and 10. Right up the middle to Marion Butts. Santana Dotson in on the tackle.
Tampa responded with 5 defensive backs in that last play, Jim. We'll probably see a lot about that 5 defensive back scheme here this afternoon.
You know, Coach, and when we talked to Sam Weiss yesterday, he was talking about they have a lot of people hurt on defense as well. So we'll see a combination of defenses.
Well, you know, they're going to have to make some adjustments. I talked to Floyd Peters before the game. He said that they might even play with 4 linebackers along with the 4 linemen. So that's an 8-man front.
On 3rd and 8. Humphries. Pass is incomplete, intended for Sean Jefferson.
Pass incomplete, intended for number 80, Sean Jefferson.
Milton Mack defending for the Buccaneers. So immediately the Chargers get off to kind of a rough start.
You know, I thought they were going to run the ball initially. They had a tight formation with double tight ends and a wingback, and it looked like they had a distinct advantage on the strong side, but they elected to throw a play action. It was batted down, incomplete. Now they're in a kicking situation, which means that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done a very outstanding job defensively in that first series.
Courtney Hope is back to receive the punt from John Kidd. Ball goes at the 27. Good punt coverage by the Chargers. A punt of 42 yards, no return, tackle made by Steve Hendrickson. The offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Vinny Testaverde back at quarterback for the second consecutive week. And up front for him, Paul Gruber, Bruce Reimers, Tony Mayberry, Ian Beckles, Charles McRae, and Ron Hall, who could be seeing a lot of action today. Backs and receivers, Reggie Cobb, Anthony McDowell, Lawrence Dawsey, and Mark Carrier. Reggie Cobb right up the middle. Cobb tackled by Gary Plummer.
You know, one thing about Cobb, you watch him run, Jim, consistently, you never ever see him go backwards. You never see anybody hit him and fall backward. He's always straight ahead.
And he'll be getting some stiff competition from Junior Seau, who is the leader of that San Diego Charger defense. There's a look at the defensive alignment: Grossman, Winter, Thornton, and O'Neill, Rolling, Plummer, Seau, the linebackers. Bird, Van Horst, Richard, and Fields in the secondary. Three wide receivers in now for the Buccaneers on 2nd and 4. Testaverde out of the backfield. It is complete. Pass is complete to Mark Carrier. Pickup of 11 yards.
That time they're in a three deep zone, and they have plenty of time to throw the football. Testaverde was able to take his time and throw the ball, follow through. And that's what he has to be able to do. And that's what happens when he doesn't have somebody in his face.
And Bobby Ross has to be concerned about this no-huddle offense that the Buccaneers are presenting right now on 1st and 10. Testaverde dumps it off out of the backfield to Anthony McDowell. McDowell gets to the 50-yard line where he was tackled by Henry Rowland.
Man-for-man coverage on the play. Now watch this from the end zone, an end zone shot. A short drop. Got time, then he steps up into the pocket and dumps the ball off. And only pick up a few yards on the play.
2nd and 7. Reggie Cobb, the sole setback for Tampa Bay. Again. Stumble at the midfield stripe and gets to about the 46 to 47-yard line of San Diego, where George Thornton is in on the tackle.
And one thing you have to do when you play against San Diego, they pursue, react, and respond to so well to what they see that you want to kind of take advantage of that by cutting back. I think Cobb tried to cut back that time and slipped.
6 defensive backs in now for the Chargers on 3rd down. 3rd and 5. Once again, Reggie Cobb trying to get enough yardage for the first down and gets just about back to the line of scrimmage. So that aggressive Charger defense that we've been talking about, Hank, came through again for San Diego.
That was supposed to be a wham play, meaning that the wingback comes over from the inside out, tries to block out on the outside line, defensive end O'Neill, but he isn't able to do that because O'Neill goes to the inside and he can't make the block.
So on 4th down, Dan Straczynski will punt for Tampa Bay. Good high punt. Bounces at about the 12-yard line, takes a San Diego bounce before it is finally killed. It's a 26-yard punt. The ball is killed there by Derek Brownlow. So there's no score. 10:46 left in the first quarter here at Jack Murphy Stadium, San Diego. It was the '68 Senior Bowl of Mobile, Alabama.
And wasn't that fun? And the greatest thing about it is we won the game.
That's right. We certainly did. And I wanted to play for the San Diego Chargers so bad. Hank had a great way of motivating us. He taped a $1,000 bill and Monopoly money over the locker and said, if you do that, if you win the game, if you do what I tell you to do, you'll win the game today. And we did.
Watch Jim come in there now. Number 22. See, he tries to avoid the flop shot. I had no penalty on the play, was it?
No. On 1st and 10 for the Chargers, Marion Butts is the ball carrier. Good block up front by Courtney Hall.
Number 77, Mark Wheeler with the tackle.
I think this team would like very much to be able to reestablish a strong run personality here this afternoon. This is something they haven't done extremely well the last few weeks, and I think they want to recapture that if they can against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Because the Chargers, Hank, have one of the largest offensive lines in all of pro football.
And how about the Butts?
Yes, one of the biggest back.
Yes, right. He's a snootful. So
yes.
There's a lot of big people up front trying to move people off the line of scrimmage.
2 tight ends now on 2nd and 5. Good pressure throws, and it is incomplete. Good pressure applied by Broderick Thomas. The pass was intended for Anthony Miller, but Broderick Thomas, coming in from his right linebacking position, made it almost impossible to complete. Humphrey right now is 0-3.
Yeah, man-for-man coverage, and Swain was trying to block that time on Thomas and didn't quite get enough of him to prevent Thomas from disrupting the throw to the outside by the quarterback.
On 3rd and 5, the Chargers now have 3 wide receivers in. Sean Jefferson comes in. 6 defensive backs now for Tampa Bay. And Ronnie Harmon, a fine running back who catches the ball out of the backfield. Humphreys. Nate Lewis. Lewis to about the 45-yard line. Pickup of some 20 yards tackle made by Joe King.
You talk about a fastball. You talk about a fastball. He got that between people in great shape on that last play. Look at this, is the way the quarterback saw the defense. Look at this shot between the middle linebacker and the defensive back, right on the money. And of course, he makes the reception and picks up the 1st down.
And of course, Stan Humphries is he's a guy that has a lot of confidence and is getting more and more since he's come to San Diego.
Yeah, he has a better understanding of what he's supposed to do, and he does the reading part of it extremely well.
On 1st and 10. Marion Butts into Tampa Bay territory, down to the 45-yard line of Tampa Bay.
The handoff to Marion Butts.
Good block up front by Eric Moten, along with Derek Walker. Pickup of 9 yards.
First of all, watch Walker, the fullback, up in front. Gets a good block in the hole. Look at this. Good block. Butts sees the cavity, takes advantage of it. And the great backs have the great capacity to be able to make yardage after the first hit. That determines how good a back is. That time he got hit, and he made about 5 extra yards after the first contact was made.
And, Coach, remember when we were talking to Bobby Ross yesterday, he was telling us how the Chargers asked Derek Walker to do a lot of things. They asked him to catch. They asked him to block. They even put him on special teams.
Well, that's right. He does everything but pump the balls up, and he is really he'd do that too if they asked him.
That's right.
Right.
Measuring now for the 1st down. Bobby Ross, who's done a magnificent job coming here from Georgia Tech, established a few new rules.
Well, you know, I had never met him before yesterday. I was very impressed with our visit. You know, he's a bread and butter guy. He calls himself a lunch bucket guy, but he's very basic, very sound, good disciplinarian, and gets along good with the squad along with it. But I think he's going to do a terrific job here.
This is Butts. Hit right at the 45-yard line, and it's going to be extremely close for the 1st down. Tackle made by Santana Dotson.
Number 23, Marty Carter. And number 51, Broderick Thompson. Broderick Thomas.
It is not enough for the 1st down, so it'll be 3rd down, Coach.
He'd have been better off to run right into the hole that time and get as much out of the thing as he possibly could. He tried to go sideways, and as a result didn't make the necessary yardage for the 1st down. Good job on a part of the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is the 6th play of the drive for the Chargers on 3rd and inches. 7:57 left to go in the 1st quarter. Butts down to about the 44, 43-yard line, and it should be enough yardage for the first down, as the Chargers then have 4 tight ends into the game. Coach really trying to put the muscle up front to get the first down.
Yeah, that's a jumbo package with all the big guys in there. And if you don't get a first down with a yard to go, that kind of a situation, you better have an investigation.
And Butts is the kind of guy who probably should see a lot of action today because of the big offensive line and the injuries to Tampa.
Right, and if we don't see a lot of him today, we'll really have a scoop.
Yeah. Santana Dotson is out of the game now. Corey Mayfield is in. Humphries gets away from one tackle. Gets away from the second. Has running room. Humphries still on his feet. Goes out of bounds after scrambling to the 19-yard line of Tampa Bay. Pickup of 25 yards for Stan Humphries.
The pressure really comes from the offensive left side. Watch to the top of your screen. Here it comes.
That's Keith McCants, who he got away from first.
Yeah, McCants should have made the tackle. It was a very poor tackle on his part. He got there, but he didn't do anything once he got there. And as a result, why Humphrey escapes from that would-be tackler and goes right down the sideline and got great field position on the run.
The second person he got away from was Jimmy Williams. So Stan Humphries has the Chargers now inside the 20-yard line of Tampa Bay at the 19.
Look at the left outside.
Here's Butts to the 15, to the 14, to the 13-yard line.
That's a counter trade play with the left guard and the left tackle pulling to the defensive on the defensive left side, but the offensive right side. They get through the gap, and Floyd Peters, calling the signals from the sideline, has done a terrific job with his style of defense. They use an undershift and an overshift defense, meaning that Dotson goes from side to side to give it the over and under look, and they've done a great job with it.
On 2nd and 5, the 9th play of the game, of the series, I should say, for San Diego. 3 tight ends in now for the Chargers. Here's Butts up the middle. Butts inside the 10, dragging people with him down to the 6-yard line. Courtney Hall and Eric Moulton once again. Hank doing a magnificent job up front of blocking for the San Diego Chargers.
And that's what it takes. You know, I don't care how good the back is. He's going to get something on his own, but they have to do a good job up front if that back is going to make good yardage. Watch the push. Watch the push on the left side. Look at the block right up front, right in the middle of the screen, and it goes through the pile and really winds up coming out the other end. That's the kind of a runner he is. You give him a seam, give him a cavity, and Butts is going to do the rest with that good running and strength that he has at 248 pounds.
7 rushes for 29 yards. There's an injury on the field. There's 5 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the first quarter. No score, Tampa Bay and San Diego.
Of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda, celebrating its 10th anniversary of automobile production in the United States. Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Castrol Syntec, the new synthetic oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
On 1st and goal for the Chargers at the Tampa Bay 7-yard line. Keith McCants just left the field, was replaced by Al Chandler. Humphries. The pass is complete. Anthony Miller inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. Ricky Reynolds defending for Tampa Bay.
Man-for-man coverage. He rolls to his right to get away from some of that pressure, especially that pressure on the left side. There you see him throw it out into the flat area. Reynolds, number 29, covering on the play, makes the tackle and knocks him out of bounds.
Now, Hank, the Chargers have 4 tight ends in the game. 2nd and goal at the 2. Butts still on his feet. Greeted by a host of Buccaneer defenders at the 4-yard line, and he's driven back. First contact made by Calvin Tiggle.
They got a lot of folks up near the line of scrimmage, and you have to consider an 8-man line, which is what you want to do in this situation. And if you see that, one down, why the smart thing to do is try to take advantage of it with some kind of a play action, because they're short with 8 men up front.
4.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 3rd and goal. Ball from the, let's make it the 3.5-yard line. The Chargers now with 3 wide receivers in the game. And Ronnie Harmon, who is excellent at coming out of the backfield and receiving the ball in the backfield. The 12th play of the drive. Humphries, plenty of time, into the end zone. Complete to Ronnie Harmon for the score.
Man-for-man coverage. Carter covering, trying to cover on the play. Number 23. Watch this. Plenty of time to throw the ball. The great thing about it is that the receiver does a good job of going way deep in the corner of the end zone, gives himself plenty of room to run the pattern, and as a result, he throws it right on the money, and it winds up being a touchdown pass. Ronnie Harmon,
who's the best in the league at running backs at catching passes with 50. John Carney's extra point conversion is good. And the Chargers on the board, leading by a score of 7-0.
Football League on CBS Sports.
And so the Chargers lead Tampa Bay by a score of 7-0. 4:06 left to go in the first quarter. The Chargers took 12 plays, 69 yards. Ronnie Harmon going in with a 3-yard touchdown reception. The drive took 6:40.
Gary Anderson defeat for Tampa Bay.
John Carney to kick off for the Chargers. Back for Tampa Bay, Gary Anderson and Courtney Hawkins.
Carney's kicking the ball a lot deeper than he used to. I asked him why. He said he's been on the weights. I said, how much difference in your kicks? He said about 4 or 5 yards.
Here's the kickoff. Courtney Hawkins at the 1. Good special teams coverage by the Chargers. Eugene Mars in on the tackle for the Chargers.
We'll take another look at that touchdown by Harmon in a minute. Here he is right here. Goes into the end zone, goes out to the outside. Carter, number 23, is covering on the play. Man-for-man coverage. Look at the good separation he gets going into the end zone deep. Plenty of time to throw the ball. Throws it. Here it is. Look how wide open he is. Look at the separation he gets between Carter, the defensive back, and himself.
The Buccaneers with their backs against the wall, trailing 7-0 and with the ball at their own 7. Testaverde. The ball is incomplete. Pass was intended for Mark Carrier. Gil Bird defending for San Diego. Paul Gruber, coach, is a young man who he's an Iron Man in his own right. He's never missed a game in the NFL. 75 games. That's 4,500 plays. That's a heck of a lot of bumps and bruises.
Oh, that's incredible. It really is. It's amazing. I can't remember any tackle, any lineman ever played that many plays consecutively without missing a game.
And they need him to perform well this afternoon. 2nd and 10. 4 wide receivers now for the Buccaneers. Testaverde gets rid of the pass. It was intended for Gary Anderson. Junior Seau defending for San Diego. And now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York. All right, Greg, thank you very much. The score here, 7-0 Chargers over Tampa Bay, 3rd and 10.
That's the nice thing about this league. You always know what to expect every week, don't you?
That's right, the unexpected. Testaverde scrambles. There's a flag on the play, and Testaverde slides down about the 22-yard line. But once again, there's a flag on the play, a pickup of 13 yards.
6 defensive backs, and we touched on what we just saw here a moment ago before the game, Jim. I don't think that Testaverde runs enough, really, escape. He's got good escapability skill, and he's got to take advantage of that ability and make plays on his own. That time he made a nice play, a good read, but it's a holding penalty, I guess, on the play. But I still think Testaverde has to do more of that.
Number 74 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 3rd down.
Paul Gruber is called for holding, the first penalty of the game.
That's what happens when you brag about something.
I better stop. Okay, no more of that. 3rd and 14. Four wide receivers in now for Tampa Bay. Testaverde from the end zone. and it is a safety for the Chargers. Chris Mims, a rookie from Tennessee. And Hank, don't you know he's excited about getting a safety in the NFL?
You talk about happiness. He's happy.
And it looks like Testaverde is hurt. You know, Coach, that's like the second or third time that Testaverde was almost sacked in the end zone for a safety, and they finally got to him.
Yeah, he had no chance whatsoever back there on that last play. It looked like a screen pass. Watch, they're coming up right up the middle. Look at that. They have a stun on. One tackle goes in one way, and the other one swings around, gets into the middle gap, and makes the sack on the play. Chris Mims, number 94.
And it looked a little bit like, Hank, like Mims twisted his knee, his left knee right there, when he tackled him for the sack. Yeah,
that could have been the case.
And so now the Chargers lead by a score of 9-0, and there's the rookie, Mims from Tennessee, 6'5", 270. And Testaverde walking off very gingerly.
You know, they got off the ball very quickly on that stunt. Stunt meaning that the right tackle went to the left tackle went right, went up the seam where he vacated, and he got penetration, but you have to do that very quickly.
Two key injuries for the Buccaneers. Keith McCants has a bruised right shoulder. He probably will return, they tell us, and we'll find out about Testaverde as soon as we get a report on that. Now the Buccaneers will have a free kick from their 20-yard line. Dan Straczynski will be kicking.
This NFL Thunders and Wonders feature being brought to you by C10 Sponsors to Catalina.
Nate Lewis, Ronnie Harmon, Eric Bieniemy back for San Diego. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left to go in the first quarter. The Chargers with a 9-0 lead, and now they will get the ball back after the free kick. Good high kick. Lewis at the 20. Lewis still on his feet at midfield. Nate Lewis in Tampa Bay territory. Lewis bumped out of bounds at the 18-yard line of Tampa Bay. Nate Lewis, a return of 62 yards, bumped out of bounds by Joe King. So the Chargers once again knocking at the door.
Look at him. He catches the ball in good shape. Now watch the decision-making and the vision on the run. Look at that. He sees a gap. He takes advantage of it. A poor tackling on the part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I couldn't tell who it was. He should have been tackled way back there, a long way from where he is right now. But a missed tackle, and he takes the ball right down in scoring position for the Chargers.
That missed tackle by Marty Carter, 62 yards, the longest Charger return this year. And Humphries calls a timeout with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the first quarter. You know, Hank, we're talking about that missed tackle by Marty Carter, and we'll talk about that in just a couple of moments. Once again, the Chargers lead Tampa Bay by a score of 9-0. So Nate Lewis has the Chargers in another threatening position. But, you know, Coach, you talk about fundamentals. Marty Carter missing the tackle there. And that's one thing that I know that you have, it really burns you about all the fundamental errors that are made these days.
Well, I really think the tackling in the National Football League is atrocious. And there was a great illustration of it. And Carter was involved in two bad plays. One for coverage and one a missed tackle.
But then Humphries, the pass was tipped by Jimmy Williams, intended for Nate Lewis in the end zone. You know, and continuing along that same line, Hank, when we talked to Gil Bird yesterday, he agreed with, he says that teams don't pay enough attention to the fundamentals, to the finer points of the game.
Well, I think situation substitution is such a demanding thing as far as the practice time is concerned that I asked several of the coaches, I said, how much time do you spend on basic fundamental things? They said, we don't have time to spend on the fundamental things. We're involved in situations, 5 defensive backs, 6 defensive backs, and all the things we're involved with. We don't have time for it.
Ronnie Harmon to the 11-yard line. Good blocking up front by the Chargers, this time David Richards. Yes.
Marty Carter
What a great run then by Ronnie Harmon.
8 yards on the carry.
2 minutes, 39 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And at the Shark shootout, the final, Tom Kite, Davis Love III, 25 under, 3 pairs of golfers in it, a shot back at 24 under. Played up the beautiful Sherwood Country Club. All the money there going to proceeds, which is a very, very worthwhile event. Humphreys trying to get the ball to Sean Jefferson, and it is incomplete.
6 defensive backs, man-for-man coverage. Ricky Reynolds in the flat, number 29, covering on the play. That's about the 3rd time they've moved the pocket, rolled to the right, especially to the right side, and it's understandable because he's a right-handed passer. It'll be a lot more difficult for him to roll to the left.
So John Carney now, who has been good on 10 of 16 field goal attempts, is in. The ball will be spotted at about the 19-yard line. This will be an attempt of 29 yards. And the Chargers add to their lead. San Diego up 12-0. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And now, Hank, Tampa Bay is really in a desperate situation, I guess you could say, even though it's still in the first quarter.
Yeah, the tough thing about it is, talking to Sam yesterday, he indicated that he would like to be able to run the ball some this afternoon. But they've been in the goulash, so to speak, bad field position. And now they're going to have to throw to get back into this game. Now, it's a long way to go before this thing is over. And they can't abandon the plan altogether, but they have to change it a little bit with this situation the way it is.
I talked to Sam before the game, Sam Weiss, and he was saying this game is supposed to be fun. We're going to have fun out here. You guys have fun up in the booth, but I can't imagine he's having a lot of fun right now.
No, the only time you have fun is when you win the game. They haven't lost it yet, but they're off to a very bad start.
There's a look at Testaverde, standing there with Steve DeBerg. Testaverde, who was sacked in the end zone for a safety earlier. And the play for the Chargers, the scoring drive, 4 plays, 8 yards, took 1 minute and 7 seconds off the clock. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter. I'm Jim Hill with Hank Stram, San Diego, Jack Murphy Stadium.
You know, the other thing about it's a 10-point lead, but it's only a play and a half away from getting back in the game. It isn't 10 play, just a play and a half to get back in.
12-0 in favor of San Diego. John Carney kicking off. Gary Anderson, the former Charger, takes the ball 2 yards deep in the end zone and downs it. So Tampa Bay will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Carney's dedication to kicking, rehearsal, practice, weightlifting, and everything. I never thought I'd see the day when he kicked the ball that deep in the end zone, but he just did it and has been doing it consistently and has done a great job, really, for the San Diego Chargers. Testaverde is getting back in the game.
2:05 left to go. Bill Arnsparger, who has done a magnificent job with his Charger defense. Now they'll try and hold Tampa once again. Reggie Cobb trying to turn the corner. Gets across the line of scrimmage. First contact made by Gary Plummer. You know, Hank, when you think about this, especially this Charger defense, what a heck of a turnaround they've had in just 1 year under Bill Arnsparger. One of the things that sticks out in my mind, last year through 10 games they had 17 sacks. This year through 10 games they have 27 sacks.
Yes, and I think there's a lot of things involved in what has happened here. Bill Arnsparger should get a lot of the credit. Bobby Ross, of course, should get a lot of the credit, and the players basically should get a lot of credit for the kind of a job they've done so far this season in the improvement.
Second down, Testaverde. Pass is complete to Ron Hall. First contact made by Sean Van Horst. Pickup of 10 yards.
And I think we should see a lot of Hall this afternoon because San Diego features a lot of zone defenses, and I think anytime that you're going to see a lot of zone, you better get the tight end cranked up and ready to go. He ought to be able to catch a lot of passes. I wouldn't be surprised to see him catch 5 or 7 passes here this afternoon.
And one of the things that Hall does, Hank, is that he doesn't just line up at the regular tight end position. He lines up at the wing back and he goes in motion. So they try to get him open as much as possible.
Yeah, and he runs well once he catches the ball, too.
Reggie Cobb now is at a wide receiver on 1st and 10.
Look at all the room on that right side if he throws the ball.
Testaverde to the right side. Complete to Anthony McDowell. McDowell bumped out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Hit there by by Junior Seau, pickup of 11 yards.
That time they were in 3 deep zone. And Ricky Reynolds covering on the play.
So you were exactly right. A lot of room on the right side, and that's just what Tampa Bay did. And now it looks like Testaverde is limping. Just you can see right on his left knee where it is wrapped up just a little bit.
Yes.
The Buccaneers in their hurry-up offense.
Well, they got the weapons. They're capable of coming right back into this game and making it a good football game.
Testaverde, good play-action pass across the middle, and it is complete. Oh, what a beautiful job Vinny Testaverde did then of hiding the ball. Pickup of 13 yards. Pass was complete to Lawrence Dawson. I mean, he had everybody fooled.
Yeah, he did good acting on the play of the running back and also the quarterback, and a beautiful throw.
So that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Chargers 12, Tampa Bay nothing. Evening Shade Monday right here on CBS, and I saw these guys when they were taping this thing, and I got to tell you, it is really, really funny.
I wonder how they got that picture out of the post office.
Pat O'Brien will do anything to get on TV, won't he? First and 10, 3 wide receivers in for Tampa Bay. Handoff to Reggie Cobb on a draw play. Cobb to the 30, inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line. Tackle made by Junior Seau. Pickup of 11 yards. What a great job they're doing up front right now for Tampa Bay.
Junior Seau and Stanley Richard.
Reggie Cobb running hard, and Stanley Richard tried to make the tackle. He hit him like he weighed about 15 pounds. He got him flying in the air after the hit.
I noticed the word you said, try.
Yeah, that's right.
And with that run, Reggie Cobb has now gone over the 2,000-yard mark in his career. Cobb again, bouncing to the outside. Stiff arm. Darren Carrington drove him out of bounds for the Chargers.
And watch Cobb. He does a very good thing here. He starts to the right with the ball in his left arm, and then he breaks outside, and then he changes the ball to the outside arm. Watch this now. Watch him shift the ball. There it is, so he can use the straight arm, but fundamental basic thing. Look at the face mask. Look at the face mask right here as he wrestles him down and out of bounds.
2nd and 9. Gary Anderson, the former Charger, is in the lineup now for Tampa Bay. Anthony McDowell, the sole setback. Testaverde throws. It is incomplete. Pass intended for Mark Carrier. Good pressure then by the Chargers, Bert Grossman. You know, and watching Testaverde then, Hank, it looked like when he was trying to backpedal that maybe that knee of his is still giving him a little problem.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of a leak in that flat tire, and it's a problem.
You better get it pumped up.
That's right. Better get the valve sealed on, get it pumped up, take it to the filling station.
3rd and 9. The Chargers lead 12-0. We just started the second quarter. Inside handoff to Anderson. The former Charger gets inside the 20, inside the 15, down to about the 10-yard line. Gary Anderson. Tackle made by Darren Carrington, pickup of 18 yards. And you know, since he played here at San Diego, he really wants to do well, Hank.
Oh, that's right. I bet he's been dreaming about this opportunity all week long. Does a good job of bringing the defense. And we talked a little bit a while ago about the fact that you have to run counter plays, misdirection plays where they pursue. That was a good acting job on the part of Anderson. He goes back, steps to the strong side, goes back to the weak side, and makes a nice gain in the play. 6 defensive backs in the game.
That was the longest run of the year for Anderson. He gets the ball again, tries to cut back again, but this time he's stopped. Stanley Richard in on the tackle, leading the gang of tacklers for San Diego. So once again, what Tampa Bay was talking about yesterday, Hank, in the cutback, because the Chargers pursue so well, they're trying to take advantage of that.
That's right. They're doing it. And the one thing you have to be careful with that kind of a thing, Jim, is the fact that you don't predetermine that you're going to cut back and blow an opportunity to go straight up the field.
This is the 10th play of the drive. Reggie Cobb, Anthony McDowell in the backfield for Tampa Bay.
Boy, look at that left side over there.
Play action pass. Testaverde throws back into the end zone, complete to Ron Hall for the score. 10-yard touchdown pass. Vinny Testaverde to Ron Hall, and the Buccaneers are on the scoreboard.
You know, you hear a lot of people talk about Vinny Testaverde falling back and throwing the ball. Sometimes he has to because there's somebody in his face, but there was a great illustration. Play action fake, beautifully done. Plenty of time, steps up into the pocket and delivers the ball right on the money to Hall, who is open in the end zone. Look at the play action fake, misdirection, rolls to his right, and throws back against the grain, back to the tight end. He's wide open, touchdown, good execution. And we talked about Hall getting some business here this afternoon. We'll see a lot more of that.
Eddie Murray's business is good right now. And the Buccaneers, with 12 minutes and 17 seconds left to go in the first half, are on the scoreboard, but they trail the Chargers 12-7.
This game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
So along with Hank Stram, I'm Jim Hill at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, where the Chargers lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 12-7. In the game summary, you have Ronnie Harmon on San Diego with a 3-yard touchdown reception. Mims sacks Testaverde for a safety. Tampa Bay comes back and they finally get on the scoreboard. And you look at the game right now, Hank, and it seemed like the Chargers were getting ready to take full control, but then all of a sudden Testaverde gets out and they come back and bounce back into the game.
Well, that's a great compliment to the coaching staff and the whole team. They're down like they were in bad field position and then come back and have that kind of a drive. I mentioned when it was 10-0, they were a play and a half away from being back in the game. Now there's one play from being back in charge of this game.
So the kickoff by Eddie Murray is out of bounds. And once again, Hank, this was a beautifully executed touchdown pass by Testaverde.
Well, they call that a delta pass. He rolls, it's a transcontinental, they used to call it, rolls to the right because they pursue so well. They took advantage of it. The tight end blocks down, delays, and then sneaks across the other side of the field. It opened up beautifully, well-timed, well-planned, and a great call by Sam White.
So the Chargers will take over, 1st and 10, where the ball was kicked out of bounds at the San Diego 35-yard line. Eric Bieniemy is in now for San Diego. And the little man has the ball. And Hank, did you see that surge then by the San Diego offensive line, one of the biggest in the league?
Big push, big push. And as big as Butts is, that line has to get out of the way. They better get out of the way.
He'll run over him.
Yeah, cleat marks all over her back.
2nd and 5, Courtney Hall to find center for the Chargers, leading that big push up front. The Chargers now with 2 wide receivers to the near side, Nate Lewis and Anthony Miller. Bieniemy, the sole setback. To the 50-yard line. Pickup of 10 yards. Good blocking up front by Courtney Hall and Harry Swain. Scores today, Hank, from around the National Football League. These are finals. We look at Philadelphia over the Giants, and look what Buffalo did to Atlanta. Miami defeating Houston. Detroit over Cincinnati. Pittsburgh defeating Indianapolis. Minnesota getting by Cleveland. Chicago losing once again to Green Bay, this time 17-3. Oh, and Mike Dick is just having fits. On 1st down, Humphries throws. Intended for Anthony Miller, who had a little problem keeping his feet. He slipped. Coverage there by Ricky Reynolds. And Ricky Reynolds, remember, he was talking about covering Anthony Miller. He loves man-to-man defense.
Well, you know, the nice thing about that is there's no indecision, no question. You got to cover the guy man for man. That's it. You got to recognize his number and cover him regards where he goes in the field, and they like that very much.
Keith McCants is back into the game now for the Buccaneers on 2nd and 10. Humphries right now is 3 of 9. 10:50 left to go in the first half. Great cut right at the line of scrimmage and gets to the 45-yard line. McCants in on the tackle.
That was an 8-man line that time. 6 on the line and 2 linebackers, and in spite of that, they still were able to make yardage on the play.
One of the things that having Bieniemy in reminds me of is when you were with Kansas City, you had the small backs behind a huge offensive line, so sometimes it's difficult to find the guys.
Well, the thing about that was, my philosophy about that was that anybody who was taller than I was couldn't play, so they had to be shorter than me to make the team and be a running back in our team, and that's why we had so many short guys.
Yeah, that's why he caused me so many headaches. 3rd and 4. Now Ronnie Harmon in the game. Humphries. Oh, what a great effort by Sean Jefferson. It is ruled an incompleted pass, but what a super effort as Jefferson tried to come up with the circus catch with Roger Jones defending.
Okay, they have 7 defensive backs in the game that time. The ball is thrown behind, bounces up in the air, and he tries to catch it, and in the process does not have possession, and it's an incompleted forward pass, a good call on the part of the official.
Possession is the key word there. And now John Kidd is in to punt for San Diego. Courtney Hawkins along with Gary Anderson to receive for the Buccaneers. Good high punt. Hits at the 5. And it's down at about the 4 or the 5-yard line by the Chargers. Great special teams work once again. A punt of 40 yards and no return. 9:46 left to go. The Chargers lead the Buccaneers 12-7. 9:46 left to go in the first half. The Chargers leading Tampa Bay 12-7. And Hank, we have 2 of the best punters in the National Football League today. John Kidd of San Diego and Dan Straczynski of Tampa Bay. Normally, a punter has 47% of his punts returned. These 2 gentlemen, 24% and 33% for Kidd. That's really amazing, and good special teams work along with the punter executing.
Now watch what happens here. See, everybody goes beyond the receiver, the punt returner, because they want to be in a position to down the ball, which they did. Great job.
For the second time this afternoon, the Buccaneers start from inside their own 10-yard line. Vinny Testaverde. Pass is complete to the outside, Mark Carrier.
The tackle, number 25, is Sean Van Horst.
And remember the last time that the Buccaneers started from this deep in their own end. They were thrown for safety. Testaverde hurt his left knee. 2nd and 8. Testaverde sacked again. Blaze Winter. 2nd sack of the afternoon for the Chargers.
Deja vu, you just mentioned it, except this time he was sacked out of the end zone. The first time in the end zone, made 2 points.
By number 96, Blaze Winter.
Look at Winter, number 96, trying to get penetration, knocks off the tackle, and goes inside and makes the sack. Great effort.
And Blaze Winter, remember, Hank, is a guy who begged to come to the Chargers. He and his wife got together, made videotape, sent him around the league. Give me a try. Bobby Beathard did, and I'm sure he's happy about it now. 3rd and 11. From his end zone, Testaverde. The pass is complete to Carrier. Across the 10 to about the 13-yard line. Tackle made by Gil Bird. Pickup of 8 yards.
A lot of times people say, well, how come he threw the ball so short on the play? He did it with the express purpose of trying to get rid of the ball and hoping that the receiver would be able to run the rest of the way for the first down. It didn't happen, and so they're now in a situation where they're going to punt the ball.
And also a situation, Hank, where the Chargers could get the ball in good field position. Nate Lewis back to receive for San Diego. And Dan Straczynski, as we mentioned, one of the finer punters in the National Football League, back for Tampa. Not too deep, but high. Clear to the 50. Makes a fair catch. And that's where the Chargers will take over 1st and 10, a punt of 37 yards. 7:48 left to go in the first half. The Chargers leading Tampa 12-7. Along with Hank Stram, I'm Jim Hill. San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium in Southern California. Stan Humphries on the sidelines with his offensive unit. Now, Humphries came to the Chargers in the preseason when they lost John Freese, and You know, since 1987, the Chargers have gone through a lot of starting quarterbacks, and many people are wondering, is he the quarterback of the future now?
I think he is. I really think he's going to be. Plus the fact you talk about these quarterbacks, I got to mention John Hagel. He was before their time, but he won a lot of football games here for San Diego, along with Sid Gilman, who I had a nice visit with before the game.
Marion Butts. What a great offensive surge by the Chargers, and he gets down to about the 42-yard line. Dwayne Young up front doing a great job of blocking a tight end for San Diego. That's a pickup. Right now, Butts has 9 carries for 35 yards. Or 36, yes.
And they're not doing anything fancy at all. They're just knocking them off the ball and running straight ahead. Look at the room. You throw the ball to the outside to the right receiver. Look at all the room they got. About 10 yards if he throws the ball.
On second down, Butts. Oh, you can hear the whacking all the way up here. This Tampa Bay is really trying to increase the tempo defensively now.
Yeah, they really are. But they see that's kind of a wasted play. When you get a situation like that, you got 2-on-2, man on the outside. You just throw the ball out there and play catch.
Sometimes this game is simple to figure out and difficult to execute.
Yeah, you're right. But I think if we're not careful, we make it a lot more complicated than it actually is.
Third down. 3rd and 2. 3 wide receivers now for San Diego with Ronnie Harmon in the backfield.
Look at the right outside again.
Harmon picks up enough yardage for the first down right up the middle.
Right over Courtney Hall. Who gets a good push at the line of scrimmage. Watch the center, 53.
And the Chargers first down.
Gets off the ball in good shape and gets a good block, providing running room for Butts.
So now Derek Walker is in the backfield for San Diego along with Marion Butts on first down. Butts, 25. 19-yard line for Marion Butts. A pickup of 19 yards. I guess the Chargers feel, Hank, you know, we might as well just go on and run one since we're having so much luck with it.
Oh, sure. Look at the way they get off the ball now. Makes a good move. It's an option play where he can go inside or outside. He makes the read to the outside. Good blocking downfield, and he goes down for another big gain on the first down.
Marion Butts, 19 yards, his longest run this year on first down.
Still got that right outside.
But instead they choose to run right up the middle. Once again, the ball carrier, Marion Butts. Darrell Fullington in on the tackle for Tampa Bay.
Look at this, 41-14 over Atlanta. That's
6 yards.
Buffalo is really hot. They are playing extremely well. We did them the other night, Monday Night Football, against the Dolphins, and they were sensational.
Scorching is more like it, and like Floyd Peters right now, I'm sure he's a little hot under the collar because his Buccaneer defense is getting pushed back again. 2nd and 4. Butts to about the 8-yard line. It's almost like we can put in a recording of this and say Butts right, Butts left, Butts up the middle. Ray Seals in on the tackle for Tampa Bay.
The one thing about field position, they've done a good job of moving the football. They had to settle before with a good field position, had to settle for 3. That always used to disturb me very, very much as a coach. You know, you get down there, you get a good opportunity. You've got to get 7. You can't be satisfied with 3. You got to get 7. And here they are again in this situation. They better come out with 7.
3rd and 4, the 7th play of the drive. 3:42 left to go in the first half. The Bucs with 6 defensive backs in. Humphries throws it to the end zone. Intended for Sean Jefferson and knocked down at the last second by Roger Jones.
We get a look at Dotson on this play. They double team him, and he still almost comes up with the play. Watch it. Look at him fight. Look at the double team. Look at his spill. He's got great quickness, and he still spins to the outside. He gets pressure on the quarterback, number 71, Santana Dotson,
who leads the league in all rookies in the NFL in sacks, going into today's game with 9. A 31-yard field goal attempt by John Carney. Down the middle, so the Chargers add 3 more points, and right now with 3 minutes 27 seconds left to go, the Chargers lead Tampa Bay 15-7. Day is coming up, and we have a great game for you. The Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys led by former UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman, and the last time they met, Dallas held on to win by a score of 34-28. It all starts at 3:30 this Thursday, NFL Today. And what a great game that is going to be. So right here, Tampa Bay still in the contest, trailing 15-7. And the average starting field position of Tampa Bay, inside their 20. I mean, it's just been, they haven't had anything to work with.
Well, you know what's happened? The Bucs have had to go 84 yards in their drives, and the Chargers 57.
And once again, Tampa Bay will start inside their 20-yard line, returned in by Gary Anderson, tackle made by Steve Hendrickson. The Buccaneers will start now 1st and 10 at their own 16-yard line. Here's Testaverde coming back in.
See, with the good field position they had, talking about the Chargers, they should have 14 more points and should have 21 instead of 15.
So as bad as the Buccaneers have been playing on the lack of good field position, they should consider themselves fortunate to be this close.
Sure, and they're still very much in this game.
1st and 10. Testaverde dumps it to the outside. Anthony McDowell, tackled by Henry Rowling. Vinny Testaverde now has completed 9 of 12 passes.
The tackle by Henry Rowling.
And the Buccaneers keeping up their no-huddle offense. A little less than 3 minutes to go in the first half. Gary Anderson, the former Charger, in now for Tampa Bay on 2nd and 10. Looks like Vinny is calling some kind of audible at the line of scrimmage. Throws complete. Lawrence Dawson, and he's met by 4 San Diego defenders, led by Darren Carrington.
That's a good automatic on the part of Testaverde. We've talked about that with San Diego. They've had the same situation, I don't know how many times, and they're not taking advantage of it. Vinny read it 2-on-2. You see, so 1-on-1, he gets it out there, man-for-man coverage, and moves the chains and gets another shot of getting the ball down the field.
In other words, just taking what they give you.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy, yeah.
3rd and 1. Timeout on the field. We're down now. There are 2 minutes left in the first half. So 2 minutes left to go in the first half from San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. The Chargers leading Tampa 15-7. We are at Jack Murphy Stadium in beautiful San Diego, California, where the Chargers lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 15-7. I'm Jim Hill along with Hank Stram. 2 minutes left to go in the first half. The Chargers have 2 timeouts left. Tampa Bay, their full complement of 3. Only 1 penalty in the game, and surprisingly, no turnovers. On 3rd down for Testaverde. Junior Seau prevents Testaverde from getting the first down.
And they had 6 defensive backs that time, man-for-man coverage, and that was a designed rollout play with Testaverde running the football to the slot side.
And one of the amazing things about it is, Hank, they rolled right to Seau, so he was looking right at it all the way.
All the way. Look, now he sees a little running room, but it closes in a big hurry. Seau comes in number 55 from the inside and makes this tackle.
Junior Seau told us yesterday they're tired of San Diego being called the joke of San Diego, the Chargers, that is. They want to put them back in the football map. Today they are. The punt by Straczynski. Nate Lewis with a fair catch at the 38-yard line. A punt of 39 yards, no return, and that's where the Chargers will take over 1st and 10.
You know, we talked about the no returns on the part of the kickers, and that's what you're really trying to get done on kicking. In a kicking situation, you're trying to get the ball high, get the flaps up as fast as you can, get it up there high so you get good coverage, or kick the ball for the corner or knock it out of bounds. That's what the good kickers do, and that's why the kick returns are so slim.
And we haven't seen a lot of kickers this year angling for what they used to call the coffin corners anymore, but the two punters today are certainly doing that.
Yes, they are.
1st down for Humphreys and the Chargers. Complete to Ronnie Harmon. Good spin. Gets to the 45-yard line. Tackle made by Darryl Pollard.
I tell you, that Ronnie Harmon reminds me so much of Thurman Thomas. It's ridiculous.
Right. He can come out of the back, and he's one of the best at coming out of the backfield and receiving passes.
Yeah, the poor guy dropped the ball once, and they never let him forget it.
Right. Humphreys. Incomplete. Intended for Anthony Miller. Ricky Reynolds defending for Tampa Bay.
And Reynolds has covered him wherever he goes on the field on man-for-man situations.
And remember yesterday when we were talking with Ricky, he said, I play man-to-man. I'd much rather play man-to-man. I don't depend that much on help from anyone, and I'd rather it be that way. Kind of surprised me, because if I was playing, I'd want all the help I could get.
That's right. Usually the corners are always sending up that flare, SOS. Give me some help.
That's right. 3rd and 4. Great catch. You talk about total concentration. That's just what Harmon had done.
Fabulous. And, of course, Humphrey really delivered the ball. You talk about a fastball. That was it. A beautiful throw. And, of course, Ronnie Harmon makes the catch.
Humphreys again. Good time. Throws, and there's no one there. A mix-up between Humphreys and Anthony Miller. 38 seconds left to go in the 1st half. Told me today that he hopes to get into the end zone at least a couple of times because he knows that Ricky Reynolds wants to play a lot of man-to-man on him. But Ronnie Harmon is just outstanding, and you talk about him being a lot like Thurman Thomas. He certainly is.
Well, the nice thing about it is the fact that you can keep him in the game. He can run, he can catch passes, he can do everything. You don't have to worry about substitutions when he's in the game, and he's caught 50 balls already this season.
Going into today's game, he sure did. Humphreys. Oh, what a great catch. Sean Jefferson. Less than 30 seconds to go. 15-yard pickup. And the Chargers call timeout. 29 seconds left to go in the 1st half. And the Chargers are knocking on the door again. .29 seconds left to go in the 1st half. San Diego leading Tampa Bay 15-7. And a reminder, coming up at halftime, Greg and Terry with scores and highlights from around the National Football League. On 1st down, the 6th play of the drive for the Chargers. Humphreys, complete to Ronnie Harmon at the 10. Harmon gets out of bounds at the 8-yard line, pushed out there by Ricky Reynolds. See, here again, Ronnie Harmon's still in the game. Now he can run or catch passes. Here he is, makes a good move on the outside, makes the catch. Does first things first. It was a low ball. He made sure he caught it and then tried to get upfield, was knocked out of bounds. But another big play by Ronnie Harmon, number 33. So the Chargers approach this time instead of the last. It looks like they're trying to get into the end zone for a touchdown instead of just playing for the field goal like they did before. I guarantee if they don't go in this time, Bobby Ross will be looking for the gas pipe. 2nd down. Humphreys into the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Anthony Miller, who was open, but the pass was too low. Intended for Anthony Miller. It was just a bad throw on the play. Watch what happens here. He gets right, makes an inside move, but the ball was a little bit low. But even though it was low, he still should have been able to make that catch, Jim. Sometimes you have to be a gopher. You'd have made it in your prime, wouldn't you? I would have tried. You'd have even past my prime, I would have tried. And Bobby Ross just can't believe that he just dropped or couldn't get a touchdown right then. That's right. That's what I talked about, that gas pipe. 18 seconds left to go in the 1st half.
Look at that right side.
Harmon, the ball carrier. Harmon inside the 5. Harmon in for the score. You know what, Hank? You should still be coaching.
A lot easier to coach up here in the press box.
Ronnie Harmon with his second touchdown of the day. The Chargers now lead 21-7 with 14 seconds left to go in the first half. John Carney in to attempt the extra point. One more point for San Diego. And once again, Hank, that big, strong, aggressive offensive line of the Chargers does it again.
Yeah, they make it happen. That's where it begins. Look at the left guard, the left tackle pulling through the play. Harmon, with his head up and his eyes open, goes through the cavity, goes through the seam, and injects the ball in the end zone for the TD.
Injects the ball into the end zone. Is that anything like matriculated downfield?
Yeah, there's a little variety of that. Look at the nice hole. Let's see, he's running through that hole with a nice lean, good possession of the ball, tight possession of the ball, and he goes in there for the touchdown.
And one of the interesting things about Ronnie Harmon is he does not seek a lot of publicity. He does not like to do a lot of interviews. He would much rather just keep to himself and his family and let his actions on the field speak for themselves.
I tell you one thing he likes to do, and that's change the scoreboard. He does that well.
He's done that in a hurry.
Bobby Ross's ears must be cold. He's putting his hands on his ears all the time. But I bet he's tickled to death that they finally scored a touchdown. They've had 3 opportunities to do that. He only scored 1 touchdown with 2 other field goals.
So the Chargers will kick off. John Carney with Gary Anderson and Courtney Hawkins back to receive for Tampa Bay. Good high kick. Anderson inside the end zone, and he downs it there. The Buccaneers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the San Diego Chargers, and the National Football League is prohibited. 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay. And one of the things we have to remember, they're down 22-7. They still are not out of this game.
No. Sam's too good a coach, and this team has got too much confidence in what they're doing. They just got to get a better break with field position in the second half. And then they'll have a chance to come back and do something and be back in this contest.
Reggie Cobb carries on the last play of the first half, tackled by Chris Mims. And so that is the end of the first half here at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, with the Chargers leading Tampa Bay by a score of 22-7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. And by the Travelers, you're better off under the umbrella. Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers, the best hamburgers and a whole lot more. And by DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. DeskJet printers, make it happen.
From Jack Murphy Stadium here in San Diego, California, we are getting ready to start the second half where the Chargers lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a score of 22-7. I'm Jim Hill along with Hank Stram. And right now, Hank, while Tampa Bay certainly is not out of this thing, but what do they have to do to get back into it?
The big thing they have to do, they have to do a better job of getting field position. In the first half, they had to go 83 yards on every drive. Conversely, the San Diego Chargers had to go 57. So I don't care who you are, you're going to lose that kind of a race if you're going to run a 100-yard sprint. So they have to get better field position in the second half.
And so the Buccaneers will receive the second half kickoff. John Carney will kick off for San Diego to Gary Anderson and Courtney Hawkins. Would have been real interesting to hear what Sam Weiss had to say to his club at halftime.
I thought we'd hear him up here.
Yeah. This is Gary Anderson. Bobbles the ball at the 5-yard line, and there's a mad scramble. The Chargers are indicating that they have recovered the fumble. And Red Cashion agrees.
Well, there you go. You talk about field position. Look at this.
Gary Anderson, the former Charger.
And not a more sure-handed guy in the world than he is.
Yeah.
By number 88, Dean Sabay.
He had to take his eye off the ball. He had it right at the numbers where you're supposed to catch it. But in the process, I think he looked up to see who was coming, took his eye off the ball, lost control of the ball, and as a result, it's a field position situation for the San Diego Chargers.
No, they gave it back.
Oh, they gave it back. Okay, all right.
They say that Anderson recovered his own fumble.
Okay.
This is Reggie Cobb. Cobb still on his feet across the 15 to the 18-yard line. This is the third start of the afternoon where the Buccaneers have started inside their own 10-yard line. And once again, you know, when it looked like the Chargers, Red Cashion even said that the Chargers had recovered it, but once again, Tampa Bay has it. And they're the halftime stats and just total dominance by the Chargers, passing and running.
Yeah, it's really Tampa's lucky to be as close as they are in this game.
And lucky to still have possession. 2nd and 1. To the 25-yard line. That is enough yardage for the first down.
There again, it's obvious they're working on that cutback, trying to get him flowing one way and cutting back the other. That time he was headed for the left guard and veered over to the right guard and made the yardage for the first down.
Cobb now 9 carries for 48 yards. Cobb again. Junior Seau in on the tackle for San Diego, along with Gary Plummer.
The ball carrier, the tackle by Gary Plummer. And
Junior Seau, coach, is a young man who left the University of Southern California a year early. Came here. They call him the best athlete on the field. And his real name is Tiana. Junior Seau. When he was in class, and the instructor said, Tiana Seau, will she stand up? Or was the instructor in for a surprise when Junior stood up?
And I asked him why he wore number 55. He said, when I was first started to play, my dad came out to see me for the first time. It was on his birthday. He was 55, so I started to use number 55 for that reason.
And he has been playing magnificently since coming into the National Football League. That pass incomplete for Ron Hall. Seau has 2 tackles, 2 assists, and 1 sack. A fine afternoon for him. 3rd and 6. 13 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. 4 wide receivers in now for Tampa. Testaverde. The pass is ruled incomplete. Intended for Jeff Parker. Gil Byrd defending for San Diego.
pass incomplete, intended for number 83, Jeff Parker.
6 defensive back, man-for-man coverage.
Broken up by number 22, Gil Byrd.
That will make it 4th down for Tampa Bay. Dan Straczynski in to punt. Nate Lewis. And it looked like he should have caught that ball.
Oh, he should have caught the ball. The ball should have been thrown a little quicker, and he should have come back for the ball a little bit more. He'd have made the catch.
Straczynski's punt. Lewis at the 30. Lewis gets to the 37, 38-yard line. Tackle made by Joe King. 47-yard punt, 7-yard return, 12:44 left to go in the 3rd period. They call him the best athlete on the San Diego Charger roster, the linebacker Junior Seau.
for reservation.
And so far, Hank, he's had one heck of an afternoon.
And that's what happens when he hits somebody. They say, ow.
So now the Chargers have the ball. 1st and 10. See how security. It's a lock. I go for that. Marion Butts, the sole setback for the Chargers. Humphries, complete. Anthony Miller struggles to get away from Ricky Reynolds, but he finally goes down.
As complete to Anthony Miller.
Now, Ricky Reynolds, Hank, is a young man who he's happy to be playing pro football, but he's also happy because of something that happened in his family, and that is he and his wife have a newly adopted daughter, Renee Nicole Reynolds.
You think they're feeding her very well?
Absolutely. And of course, proud Papa showed us a picture yesterday, and he's just as thrilled as he can be. And congratulations to both of them. 2nd down. Butts gets just across the line of scrimmage. Now for an NFL Today report update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, and in Anaheim, the 49ers give Jeff Everett of the Rams plenty of time to throw. Henry Ellard plenty of time to get behind the defense. 31 yards in the touchdown, and the Rams are on the board. It's 10-7 San Francisco in the 3rd, Jim.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Jim Everett has been playing great football in the last 3 or 4 weeks, Hank, and if you give him protection, he can be just as good as anyone in the NFL.
Yeah, there's nobody better if you give him time to throw the ball. It's typical of any quarterback who has talent.
On 3rd down. Humphries. He threw a bullet, and Anthony Miller just couldn't hang on. Pass was incomplete. Ricky Reynolds defending. Ricky Reynolds, you know, he's starting to make a believer out of a lot of people. He says he wants to play man-on-man, doesn't need any help. And so far, he's been doing a great job.
You see a late hit on Humphrey with Dotson, number 71. Look at this. Look at the strength he has. Look at, well, it's not too bad. It's not too, oh, there it is. Yeah, I gave him a little massage there.
Oh, that wasn't that bad.
No, that's a boys will be boys thing there. That was nothing more than that.
Courtney Hawkins back to receive the punt. Upshot kid. High floater. Takes a Tampa bounce. The ball is finally downed at about the 32-yard line. There's a timeout on the field. 11 minutes, 6 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter, and we'll be right back. Leslie O'Neal of the Chargers holds the rookie season record for quarterback sacks at 12.5. A young guy by the name of Santana Dotson right there has 9 already so far this year, 6th among all-time rookies. Reggie Cobb, the ball carrier. Cobb struggling on his feet, getting to the 40-yard line. Tackle there made by Junior Seau. You know, you think about Santana Dotson, Hank, he's a young man who people better believe he knows about his business, because he is going to make an impact in the National Football League.
Well, he has made it already, and he's got a great future in the league. And incidentally, you know, we drafted his dad, Alfonso Dotson, when I was at Kansas City, played his collegiate football at Grambling, was a terrific player, and finally finished his career with the Oakland Raiders at that time, as Al Davis would say.
The Raiders. Yeah. So there's football blood in the family. This time, Reggie Cobb again. Blaze Winter and Henry Rolling in on the tackle for San Diego.
You know, the nice thing about Cobb, you see him hit into the hole. He's always into the hole with his shoulder square. Makes a big difference, and when you're square, you deliver the blow rather than accept the blow, and it makes a big difference on the kind of yardage that you make after the hit.
And very seldom has he been knocked back. Bobby Ross told us he saw him make a run last week. He still couldn't believe how he was going forward with 2 or 3 people hitting him like that.
Right.
Now Cobb is a wide receiver to the top of your screen. On 1st down. Testaverde gets sacked by Bird Grossman. Good pressure by Chris Mims. And Testaverde goes down once again. The 4th sack of the afternoon by the Chargers.
Mims again. Look at, they pull a guard to the right side. Watch 94 come into the picture. He doesn't do a good job. That's that tackling we talked about earlier. Here you got a guy standing in the pocket, not even moving, and you can't make the tackle on a standing target. Figure that one out.
Certainly can't. 2nd and 19. Testaverde. Stram pass to Gary Anderson with a blocker in front. Anderson gets across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Tackle made by Blaze Winter. Pickup of 13 yards. So they got 13 of the 19 back. As the former San Diego Charger has to consider himself very, very lucky because he recovered that the muff or the fumble at the beginning of the second half. 3rd and 6.
Yeah, that really would have been a disaster to have to start the second half with a touchdown right off the bat with that kind of field position by the San Diego Chargers.
Testaverde goes down again. The 5th sack of the afternoon. Chris Mims. Here's the young rookie. He had a safety in the first half, and now he comes back again.
And Sayah was back into the pocket also on the play.
And you know what? That's a great thing about sacks, Hank. Some guy may get the sack, but there's always someone else who causes it.
You're right. See, now he tries to go inside. There's no place to escape. There's no place to hide. There's Mims again, and there's Sayah, number 55.
And Bill Armsparger, don't you know, he's just happy. That's Father Time, as Junior Sayah calls him. And he's very pleased with the performance of his young defense today. Nate Lewis back to receive. Dan Straczynski's punt. Another good high punt. Fair catch. Lewis fair catch the ball. Fair caught the ball at the 16-yard line. 7:47 left to go in the third quarter. Chargers up 22-7. Murphy Stadium with Hank Stram. I'm Jim Hill. San Diego up 22-7. And Bill Armsparger, Hank, is a young man that you know very well, and you saw him on the field today.
Yeah, I was talking to him, and who walked over to Floyd Peters, and he came running over. He said, "Congratulations, Bill. You're doing a great job here." He said, "I always appreciate the opportunity that you provided for me when you were the head coach of the Giants. You gave me my first job. Never forget it. Thanks a lot." And off he went.
And right now, Armsparger is happy with his defense. Floyd Peters is not happy with his. Marion Butts, the ball carrier for San Diego, tackled by Ray Seals. So the Chargers right now are in their worst starting field position of the afternoon. So now we'll get a chance to see the shoes on the other foot now.
That's right. Now they're in the soup and see what they do and how big the spoon is for them to get out of the soup.
And I think Floyd Peters knows here's the opportunity of the game for them. If they stop him here, give it to the offense in good field position, maybe they can get another touchdown.
The defense has to make some kind of a play, and especially teams have to make some kind of a play to give them field position.
Humphries. The pass is thrown out in the flat, and it is complete. Anthony Miller. Roderick Thomas in on the tackle for Tampa Bay. It was amazing. You were watching Floyd Peters, and you could see just by his body language, he knows that this is the crucial part of the ball game for his team.
Yeah, you have a feel for that. You have to know that you don't get these opportunities very often. This was expressed in the first half as they had bad field position and had to go 83 yards in every drive in the first half, as I mentioned earlier. This is an opportunity for them to improve that field position situation.
Sean Jefferson, Ronnie Harmon in the game now for San Diego, 3rd and 4. Humphries throws out, and the pass is complete. That's Nate Lewis, the receiver.
Well, they had 6 defensive backs, 3 deep zone that time. Zone, of course, means they're covering the areas instead of the man. Although once the guy gets in his zone, as you know, Jim, hey, it's man for man, isn't it?
You better get him, and get him in a hurry. Dwayne Young, Marion Butts now back in the game for San Diego. 5:55 left to go in the third quarter. This is Butts. Butts gets across the line of scrimmage. The entire Tampa Bay defensive line in on the tackle. That's one of the things that the Buccaneers have to do right now. I mean, they have to all get around the ball from a defensive standpoint and hold.
And then they have to try to scrape the ball loose in the process. That's very, very important part of the tackling process. You got to go after the football and try to get a fumble.
And one of the things that Sam Weiss told us yesterday, he said San Diego will give up the ball. So I know Floyd Peters and the rest of the defensive unit is looking for that right now.
Well, the way they're going, they're going to wait till after the game before they give it up.
2nd and 8. First contact made by Keith McCants.
Ball on the ball carrier.
So Marion Butts, 65 hard-earned yards this afternoon.
He's a sledgehammer back, and he really moves the chains, doesn't he?
Doing exactly what he's paid to do. 4:35 left to go in the third quarter. Butts 67 yards now on 17 carries, 3rd and 5. Flag on the play.
Well, that time they hit Ronnie Harmon.
Before the ball was snapped. False start. Number 70 on the offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Ronnie Harmon that time was lined up as a slot guy right off the outside position of the offensive tackle on the left side.
Penalty call on Mike Zandowski. Referee Red Cashin. Only the 2nd penalty of the game, and that's a heck of a good job from that standpoint with only 2 penalties so far in the game.
That's right. How about New England giving the Jets a little massage?
Oh,
3.
They had a chokehold on them. Humphries going deep for Anthony Carter. Anthony Miller, I should say, and it's a little bit long. Anthony Miller, number 83, defending there, Joe King and Ricky Reynolds.
Anthony Miller.
So Anthony Miller finally had a little breathing room, and he just couldn't connect.
Here he is in the bottom of the screen getting off the line of scrimmage. Ricky Reynolds playing an outside position on him. He's with him step for step, and he does a good job of not trying to get a shot at the receiver and maybe hit him in the back. The ball was long. He evidently saw that and didn't make much of an attempt to make a play on the ball.
John Kidd into punt. Courtney Hawkins back deep for Tampa. Oh, what a punt. Drives him back inside his 20-yard line where he signals for a fair catch. And that's where Tampa Bay will take over 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. 3:50 left to go in the third quarter.
At the 20-yard line.
San Diego leading 22-7, and this is a great stat right here. The Chargers have not allowed a third quarter point in the last 4 games. That's really outstanding, Hank.
Well, that's strong. That is really strong.
1st and 10. Great play action pass by Testaverde. Throws, and the pass is complete to Lawrence Dorsey. I mean, he fooled everyone for a pickup of 21 yards.
Lawrence Dorsey.
You know, that the play action pass, and you know, sometimes we take that for granted. Play action pass means that it's just a play that looks like a run, but you fake the run and go back and throw the ball. Look at all the time he's got to throw the ball, step, throw, hit the receiver right in the middle of the defense against his own defense.
For a 1st down, and here's Reggie Cobb, the ball carrier. Cobb trying to jitterbug his way into Charger territory, but he only gets up to the 45-yard line of Tampa Bay. Stanley Richard in on the tackle for the Chargers.
You know, a reverse of some kind would be very effective on this drive. If they get a little better field position, San Diego is chasing very aggressively, and as a result, some kind of a play like that could be a big play.
And Sam Weiss is the exact kind of coach to pull those kinds of plays.
Yeah, he loves those recess football plays.
2nd and 6. 2:48 left to go in the third quarter. Play action again. Testaverde fakes it. Still on his feet. Chased by Leslie O'Neal, who finally catches him from behind. Now for another NFL Today update. Once again, Hank, the Cowboys trying to bounce back from losing to the Rams last week.
Well, I tell you, Phoenix is a good team. Joe Bugle has done a great job with that young team. They're coming on. But I would just think that Jimmy Johnson is the kind of a coach who's going to get them to bounce back and win that game, probably.
3rd and 2 for the Buccaneers. Reggie Cobb tackle in the backfield. Gary Plummer in on the tackle for San Diego, along with Henry Rowland.
Rowland, of course, loves that kind of a play because he used to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he gets a lot of satisfaction. And making that kind of a play. And
now there's confusion out on the field as the Buccaneers came out immediately and lined up on the field. And now Tampa Bay is trying to say that the Chargers had too many men on the field as the pass was complete to Mark Carey. Once again, Sam Weiss trying to do anything he can to cause confusion by the defense.
Well, that's the thing about that no-huddle offense. You better be able to do first things first, and that is just line up on the right people. Sounds very fundamental and basic, but that's what has to be done.
Now there is a flag on the field. And remember, when we talked to Sam Weiss yesterday, he was talking about, he had talked to the officials about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and them trying to have their fast break no-huddle offense that he was talking about. And that's exactly what this is, trying to cause confusion on the defensive end.
Well, that's one thing I talked to Eisberger about before the game and asked him about that. He said, yeah, it creates a lot of problems. We have to be very, very alert and make sure we line up on the right people.
12 men on the field during the play. That penalty is declined. It's first down.
And that's what happens. You see, they try to get you in a position, see where they have 12 guys on the field. And that's what they did. They caught him. Yeah, that looks like the whole bench on the field in that situation right there. Look at it.
12 and then some. And that's the whole purpose behind Sam Weiss's fast break no-huddle offense.
And the smart thing was that Testaverde had him snap the ball with all that confusion. They were able to run the play and took the gain rather than the penalty.
On first down at the Charger 39-yard line.
Well, look at the room on the left side over there with the left receiver.
That's what Testaverde went to. Complete to Reggie Cobb. Cobb still struggling on his feet. Stanley Richardson on the tackle for San Diego. And there's a little smile by Testaverde. That's the first time we've seen him smile all afternoon. Earlier today, when we saw him on the field, I thought he may have been a little nervous.
Yeah, I think he was. He looked like he was very concerned, but he expressed some joy on that last pattern. Junior Seau making the tackle.
2nd and 7. Cobb again. Room to run. Collision at the 30-yard line as he gets down to about the 28.
There's another illustration, what we were talking about earlier. You see him get in the pile? He knocked the whole pile backwards. Nobody knocks him backwards. He knocks the pile backwards. Talking about... Watch this now. Look at this. Look at this. Let's show them. Watch this hit now. Look at that. You see that? See him run with the shoulder square and the head down and gets right in the pile and makes it move.
Excedrin headache number 34. That's what that was.
Right.
Testaverde. The pass is incomplete, going to Lawrence Dawsey.
Bad pattern.
Now there's a flag on the play.
It's a bad pattern. He had two guys in the same zone, same area. One bullet would have got both of them.
Once again, Red Cashin, the referee today, going over to clarify the penalty.
There is no infraction on the play. It's second down.
Just an inadvertent flag on the play.
But it was a bad-looking pass pattern. Sam would be very disturbed about that. He'll be disturbed when he sees that in the movie, because there were two receivers almost close enough to shake hands.
I think what the Buccaneers were complaining about was a forearm to the head of Lawrence Dawsey by Gil Byrd. This is the 9th play of the drive. 2nd and 10.
All he's got to do is step up and throw the ball to the outside receiver on the left side. Look at the room he's got over there.
Testaverde trying to get out of trouble. Vinny still running. Vinny galloping down inside the 15 to about the 12-yard line, a pickup of some 16 yards.
See, he's got very deceptive speed because he's a long-legged guy.
And that is the end of the third quarter with the score. The San Diego Chargers 22, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7. On CBS, the New York Giants against the Dallas Cowboys. Eric Kramer, Jerry Ball trying to lead the Detroit Lions. They led the Detroit Lions last year, and they received John Madden's Turkey Award. And that's not anything to laugh about, because Madden always picks out the outstanding players of that particular game, and he gives them part of his Thanksgiving dinner, which is a huge drumstick. But here's something I know the Chargers have to be concerned about right now, Hank, and that is Henry Rowland coming off with a knee injury.
Yeah, he's been a good young player for him and has performed extremely well so far this season.
Kevin Murphy replaces Henry Rolling. Now let's see if the Buccaneers take advantage of it. Testaverde, plenty of time. Into the end zone. Incomplete. Anthony McDowell was the intended receiver. He was out of bounds.
Yeah, great fake by Testaverde that time. Watch the fake. See, he puts the ball in the pocket and then goes back in the pocket. Look at everybody takes a whiff of that fake. Got plenty of time to throw the ball. Except the receiver was way too deep in the end zone and out.
On second down. Leslie O'Neal in on the tackle. Getting Reggie Cobb in the backfield. Leslie O'Neal. And this is one of the reasons why the Chargers have such a good defense against the run.
And of course, they don't have a great variety of things they do. They just do the basic things fundamentally well. We kidded Sayar the other day about blitzing. He said, we can't get Einsberger to blitz ever.
Only if he starts to go crazy.
Yeah.
But right now, the Chargers have 7 defensive backs in the game. Testaverde towards the end zone, complete to Mark Carrier right at the 1-yard line. What a bullet of a pass by Vinny Testaverde.
Pass complete.
Tackle made by Donald Frank.
Tackle by number 27, Donald Frank.
What a bullet this was, Hank.
Oh, it was. You talked about the frozen rope. That was it. Frank, number 27, was right there to make the tackle. Good time for play action pass right here. Get it in. Play action pass.
Okay, 3 tight ends in now for Tampa.
Play action pass.
You call it, Hank.
Boys.
He can walk it. You sound like you were coaching again on the sidelines for the Chiefs. Vinny Testaverde could have walked in on that one.
That's one of those you bet plays. You bet. Look at Sam full of happiness. That's a great call because, you know, they're on first down. They're expecting you to run. Everybody's in the gap. And look at the end zone replay. Look at this fake by Testaverde. Rolling to the right. He's able to matriculate it right outside and tiptoe into the end zone for the touchdown.
Ian Beckles there leading the way, holding his arms out. So the Buccaneers are right back in this thing right now, and they're very fortunate considering the poor field position that they had. Now there is a timeout on the field. There's an injured San Diego Charger player.
Seeing scoring that kind of a touchdown gives them a lot of motivation. Still very much in this game.
And there's still a lot of time. 13 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. That's Bert Grossman, who is one of their leaders on the defensive line, and the Chargers could ill afford to lose him. So the Buccaneers now lining up for their extra point conversion.
Eddie Murray, the great kicker from Tulane University, has spent most of his career in Detroit. Spent a week or so in Kansas City, and now he's out here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And his extra point conversion is good. So the Chargers right now have a 22-14 lead, and will return to Jack Murphy Stadium after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
This is CBS.
From San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium in beautiful Southern California. I'm Jim Hill along with Hank Stram. San Diego Chargers are now finding themselves in a battle with the Buccaneers, leading by a score of 22-14.
See, every time I see that kind of a score, I think about the two-point play. It's ridiculous that you don't have a two-point play in professional football.
Nate Lewis taking Eddie Murray's kickoff. Lewis gets over the 25 to the 26-yard line. And that's where the Chargers will take over 1st and 10. Tackle there made by Al Chamblee.
Interesting third quarter offense. Tampa Bay 95, San Diego
22. Complete role reversal.
Well, that field position makes a big difference, you see.
The shoe was on the other foot, and the Buccaneers have responded.
That's why you got to remember there's 4 quarters.
That's right.
Not just 2.
And we have 13 minutes and 19 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. As Grossman look like they are, Bert Grossman, they're looking at his right ankle. Play action pass by Humphries. Santana Dotson makes him throw it away. The pass looked like it was intended for Eric Bieniemy.
Dotson's not under control when he's rushing a quarterback. See, if he was in a good control hitting position, he wouldn't run by the passer like he has. He doesn't have his knees bent enough where he can make those moves, you see. Watch 71 now. Watch him. There he is. Look at. See, he's straight up in the air, grabbing, pawn. Had he been in a hitting position, he would have been able to make a tackle.
And pick up another sack for him.
That's right.
2nd and 10. Right up the middle is Eric Bieniemy.
Ball carrier number 32, Eric Bieniemy.
Jimmy Williams in on the tackle for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, they better not start putting the sand in the football this early. They better keep doing what they were doing, talking about San Diego. They can't get overly cautious.
And that is by, getting real conservative right here,
right.
Giving Tampa a chance to get the ball back again on 3rd and 6. Ronnie Harmon now in the game for the Chargers, and we know what he can do. Complete to Sean Jefferson. Good job of scrambling around then by a Stan Humphries, pickup of 9 yards.
Well, that's a good play and a good execution. Good job on the part of Humphries. But they can't sit on the ball. They got to keep trying to get points. Watch this again. He's pocket pass. Good rush on the outside. Another missed tackle. And he rolls out and makes the play. Had the rusher taken the proper angle, it'd have been a sack.
Ray Seals was the one applying the pressure, and Sean Jefferson made the made the reception. And Sean Jefferson, number 80, a young man who likes the TV series Cheers. Well, now the fans are cheering for him. Eric Bieniemy is now back in the game for the Chargers. And he has the ball. Tried a little stutter step behind the line of scrimmage. It didn't fool Santana Dotson and Broderick Thomas at all.
It looked like the offensive line was mad at him that time, the way they blocked in that play. Still say if they got a reverse in here someplace, they would be able to make a big play. Both teams are chasing very aggressively anytime they see the ball go in one direction.
So it will be 2nd and 12. Santana Dotson trying to get his troops all fired up so they can hold the Chargers now. Ronnie Harmon in the backfield for San Diego. Humphries throws. The pass is complete. Anthony Miller. Tackle made by Ricky Reynolds.
I tell you, Ricky Reynolds is doing a good job of covering him. He hadn't had any big plays. He's caught a couple of balls in front of him, but he doesn't get behind him. And that's what it's all about. Look at man-for-man coverage out there. He gives him a pretty good cushion. He stops in front, but he maintains that cushion, comes up and makes the tackle. Can't do any better than that.
No,
you get too close to him, he's going to run right by you.
It is indeed Miller time. He has 4 catches for 25 yards. His longest catch, 10 yards. And much better this season than last season. Remember, he told us yesterday he worked out during the offseason because he was injured. And as a result, he's been able to concentrate. He's healthier, stronger, and more active. 3rd and 2. Intended for Derek Walker. Darryl Pollard defending for Tampa Bay.
Williams blitzing on the play. That's an unusual call. If you're going to try to get the ball down the field on that kind of a play, you'd be better off to do it with play action rather than the pocket. You're running the ball good. Fake the play action for 2 yards. You ought to be able to get the 2 yards on the play action fake.
You got a big tight end running downfield, too. So on 4th down, John Kidd into punt for San Diego. Courtney Hawkins, number 85. At his own 10-yard line for Tampa. fair catch call at the 12-yard line. Tampa Bay will take over 1st and 10. 10 minutes, 5 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. 22-14 Chargers.
Summary is sponsored by Keystone Light.
Ronnie Harmon, one of the stars of today, with 2 touchdowns. Vinny Testaverde has been sacked 5 times, but we do have a ball game on our hands.
Well, they're still in the game, and that's the amazing thing about it is they still got a good chance to come back and win this contest.
Even though Testaverde's been sacked 5 times, he ran in for a touchdown on his own, and it's really something that the Buccaneers are able to get him out like this.
Yeah, well, that's a good play by Testaverde.
Now the Buccaneers have the ball once again. Testaverde handing off to Reggie Cobb. Gary Plummer leading the defensive attack for the Chargers. Less than 10 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter.
At number 58, Kevin Murphy.
And somehow, Hank, I get the feeling that the Chargers defensively know how important it is for them to stop Tampa Bay right now, because the Buccaneers had a little momentum going.
Yes, that's for sure. They got to buckle them up.
2nd and 9. Testaverde. Pass was incomplete, intended for Reggie Cobb.
Pass incomplete. Intended for Reggie Cobb.
Well, they played a 3-deep zone that time, protecting areas, keeping everything in front. The one thing about playing man for man, anytime you get caught with a man for man, you're chasing people downfield, as you know, Jim. And if they get a run up the middle, why, there's nobody to make the tackle because they got their back to the runner.
The ball was tipped by Ron Hall on 3rd down. Bucks only 2 of 9 on 3rd down conversions.
6 defensive backs.
Across the middle, complete to Mark Carrier. Tackle made by Sean Van Horst, a pickup of some 23 yards.
2 deep zone, and you talk about a big league throw by Testaverde. That's what that was. Right in the middle area. It was a double coverage on the outside, double zone. The middle was open.
Carrier now 6 receptions for 71 yards. 8:48 left to go in the 4th quarter.
The middle is still the area where you want to throw the ball.
Inside handoff to Gary Anderson. Anderson thrown to the turf once again by Chris Mims, and the young rookie from Tennessee is having an all-pro afternoon.
Boy, he's really something, isn't he? Yeah, that's about 4 big league plays that kid has made. Boy, this has been a taffy pull. Hasn't it? 49ers and the Rams?
That's right.
Look at the Raiders. That's a...
New England over the Jets. And we have the Chargers leading Tampa 22-14. 7:58 left to go in the 4th quarter. Testaverde struggling on his feet and goes down again. The 6th sack of the afternoon for the Chargers. Chris Mims, Leslie O'Neal in.
Leslie O'Neal's in there. Mims is in there. Testaverde got the old vice play that time. He didn't have any place at all to go. Up the middle, outside. Look at that. Look at Mims. 94.
3rd and 22. Testaverde is going to be a sore young man in the morning.
You don't have many 3rd and 22 plays in your offense, I'll tell you that.
Because if you try, here's what happens. Testaverde running around. Darren Carrington.
Well, 6 defensive backs, a 3 deep zone.
And the Charger crowd gives their San Diego defense a standing ovation, and well deserved. Here's the 4th down punt of Dan Straczynski. Nate Lewis at the 20. Good jitterbug. Gets up to the 35-yard line, and that's where the Chargers will take over 1st and 10. 6:39 left to go in the 4th quarter.
Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, builder of fine automobiles since 1886. Payne Weber, we believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. And by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the special delivery company.
Along with Hank Stram, I'm Jim Hill. Vinny Testaverde on the sidelines, hoping he can get his offense back on the field one more time. 6:39 left to go in the 4th quarter. Tampa trailing the Chargers 22-14. Play action by Stan Humphries. Incomplete, and there are flags on the play intended for Anthony Miller. Ricky Reynolds defending for Tampa Bay.
I can see why he said he wasn't worried about getting any help inside. He's done a terrific job. Look at him closing the gap there. That time he really ran right through him. Definitely pass interference on the play.
Interference, number 29, touchdown!
Bert Grossman for the Chargers has a right ankle sprain. They say he may return. It's a 17-yard penalty for the Chargers. 1st down, San Diego. Humphries again. Anthony Miller is the receiver. Ricky Reynolds right on him again, bumping him out of bounds. You know, Hank, with Ricky Reynolds on him, I mean, he's covering him and everything, but Anthony is making his receptions and moving the ball down the field.
Well, Ricky Reynolds is playing. He's giving him a big cushion. He's making sure that he's not going to lick him on a big play, but he's throwing in front of him, and that's a smart approach on the part of the Chargers.
And as you would say, they are matriculating the ball right on down the field.
They're negotiating it right down there.
That's what they're doing. .6:28 left to go in the 4th quarter. Second down now for Humphries. 2nd and 1 for San Diego. Marion Butts, the sole setback for the Chargers. And he gets the ball right at the middle. Butts to the 35. Butts down to the 30. Ball comes loose. Broderick Thomas has it for Tampa Bay. So Marion Butts on his feet, picking up enough yardage for the 1st down, loses the ball, and Broderick Thomas from Nebraska comes up with it.
Recovered by Thomas.
And that leads back, Hank, to what Sam Weiss was telling us yesterday, is that sometimes the Chargers do give the ball up.
Yes, and there's a good example of it right here. Butts carrying the ball and his left arm instead of his right arm when he's running to the right. They knock it out of there. Look at this. And now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have possession. Bad field position again, but they still have possession.
Great job by Broderick Thomas, who kind of forced the fumble and then came up with it and recovered. 1st down, 6:02 left to go in the game. Inside handoff to Gary Anderson. The former Charger stumbles, falls down. He's tackled by Chris Mims. And surprisingly, Hank, that was the first turnover of the game.
Loss of a yard.
Here we see this again. A draw play, but he gets tangled up with his own man. The right tackle that time, trying to make a block. And, yeah.
Charles
McCray, yeah.
Tripped over McCray. Testaverde back to pass, throws, and it is complete. Pass is complete to number 83, Jeff Parker. Pickup of 13 yards.
Tackle by number 36, Dalton Hall.
Bird covering on that last play with 6 defensive backs.
Minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. To Testaverde coming out one more time with another completion, this time to Courtney Hawkins.
That's complete to number 85, Courtney Hawkins.
And
excuse me, Jim, they're playing a 3-deep zone like you would imagine. They want to make sure they keep everybody in front.
And the fast break, no huddle offense of Tampa is moving right now. defense by Gil Byrd.
Close man-for-man, tight man-for-man coverage on the play. Good job by Byrd.
Pass was intended for Jeff Parker.
Testaverde, plenty of time to throw the ball on the outside, but look at Byrd come up there and make a play.
3rd and 5. And let's go to New York for an NFL Today update. Once again, here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, at Anaheim, the Rams had pulled to within 3, but Steve Young from 42 yards out, play action to Jerry Rice. His 99th career touchdown, and the 49ers lead the Rams 20-10, 6.5 to play in the 4th quarter.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Here we have 4:27 left to go. 4th down, and the Buccaneers are going for it. This is Gary Anderson. Needless to say, he didn't make it. You agree with that call, Hank?
No, it looked like he had a chance to cut the ball back inside. He tried to jump over the top. No chance whatsoever.
Do you agree with the call to go for it on 4th and 5 with 4:15?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think you might not get the ball back for the field because they would have wound up with good field position, and they figured they might as well try to get the 1st down. If they had to kick it, they're going to get bad field position anyhow, and so as a result, that's what they did.
4:17 left. We'll be right back. 22-14 Chargers. 22-14, Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sergeant Ruff. Now he's trying to make sure that his defensive unit can hold the Chargers right now.
And you see, he was holding them back to see what the Chargers were going to bring in. Then he sent his people in.
And off the Bucks. Aaron Bucks. He held on to it this time.
Yeah, he did. He had the ball in the wrong arm again. That time the left tackle and the left guard pull on the play. The old counter trey play, Harry Swain and Moten pulling to the right on the play. Watch them come now. Here they come. Look at the left tackle and the left guard coming through. A good block at the point of attack. Look at Butts carrying the ball in the wrong arm. He should have it in the right arm away from the ensuing pursuit from the inside. Luckily, he got away with it. No fumble.
A pickup of 19 yards in San Diego's last 4 possessions. Look where they've started from, Hank, and they really needed that run, that drive right, or the drive that they're in right now.
Yeah, that was a big play.
Marion Butts is averaging 5.1 yards a carry. He has the ball again. Tackle made by Jimmy Williams of the Buccaneers.
Tackle number 54, Jimmy Williams, and number 55, Eric Brownlow.
And we thought at the top of the show that Butts would have to have a good game today for the Chargers to win because of Tampa Bay and all the injuries that they have in the defensive line.
Right, you have to give them a lot of credit for the way they played. I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've been hurting physically, but in spite of that, they've hung in there tough. A great compliment to Sam Wentz and also to Ray Oliver, who was their strength coach, who has done a great job with this team.
Right. Marion Butts again. Down to about the 15-yard line. And there is a timeout on the field called by the Buccaneers. .241 left to go in the 4th quarter. Any of these scores kind of surprise you? What about Chicago beating Green Bay? You know, I wonder what Mike Ditka is going through right now.
Oh, I'd hate to imagine. I know he's really taken this tough. He's not used to losing. He's always been a winner, and this is a tough time for Mike.
And you talk about Buffalo, they're back on track as they take care of Atlanta.
Boy, they're hot. They look terrific to me last Monday night. The best I've seen them all year long.
Okay, the Giants taking care of Philadelphia. The Philadelphia taking care of the Giants, I should say. 47-34. They tried to tilt the scoreboard.
Yes, that's right. I wonder if they counted some of the points they scored in the pregame warm-up in this game to make 47 points. They haven't done very well in that category all year long, talking about Philadelphia.
There are going to be some tired young men after this game is over for both sides. The Chargers have the ball. 3rd and 6. gets the ball down inside the 10-yard line.
Tackle number 23, Monty Carter.
I tell you, this San Diego, you got to be impressed with the way they played here this afternoon. The running backs, Butts, Harmon, are very outstanding. And that offensive line, as big and strong as it is, and of course Humphrey coming into his own as a quarterback, why, they've got a lot to look forward to.
And there is a timeout on the field. The 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, with San Diego leading Tampa 22-14. From San Diego, California, Jack Murphy Stadium, on what has cooled off now. The Chargers leading Tampa Bay 22-14. 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. I'm Jim Hill along with Hank Stram, and the Chargers are knocking at the door. First and goal. Ball at the 8-yard line. Marion Butts.
Well, I tell you, they're running the same play. They're pulling the left guard and left tackle, getting a good down block by the tight end, and they're just banging it in there off tackle and moving the pile.
One of the great things about the Chargers' offensive performance to date, they've allowed no sacks, only 1 turnover, 173 rushing yards, and only 1 penalty.
Well, if you look at the score every Sunday, regardless college game, high school game, pro football game, 95% of the time, just all you got to do is look at who rushed for the most yardage, and that's the team that usually wins, and that's what happened here this afternoon.
Play action pass. Humphreys will go in for the score. Beautiful bootleg by Stan Humphreys.
And Carter got caught in the fake up front. Recovered, but not in time to make the tackle on Humphrey. And there again, the illustration of the misdirection play we talked about. Look at everybody pursuing. You don't see anybody at all except Carter on the outside. That's how much they're pursuing, and you have to do that the way they're running the football. Good call on the part of the San Diego Chargers.
So Stan Humphreys, who came to the Chargers after their starter, John Freeze, was lost for the rest of the year in preseason with a knee injury, has firmly established himself in the Chargers right now with the extra point conversion. Leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a score of 29-14. 1 minute, 12 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. A reminder that coming your way this Thursday, we've got a football feast for you. It all begins at 3:30 Eastern Time with a special holiday edition of the NFL Today, featuring a look at the resurgence of the Dallas Cowboys as America's team, plus other Thanksgiving surprises. Then the Cowboys host their NFC East rivals, the New York Giants. We will absolutely fill your plate with football and fun. Thursday, 3:30 Eastern Time, right here on CBS. John Kidd set to kick off, and Stan Humphreys is all smiles.
You got to give both teams a lot of credit for the way they play, especially San Diego for winning the game like they have, seemingly, and of course the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hanging in there and fighting like they have all afternoon.
Gary Anderson on the return, and there is a flag on the play. Steve Hendrickson down to make the hit for the Chargers.
Handling flag on the field.
Illegal block. Number 57 of the receivers doing the return. Be 10 yards, first down at 10.
Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday night movie, Nightmare in the Daylight. And the 60 Minutes, well, Woody Allen says he didn't do it. Mia Farrow says he did. Woody tells his story to Steve Croft tonight on 60 Minutes. In now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at quarterback, Craig Erickson, rookie from Miami. He goes to the air immediately, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Lawrence Dawson. A minute and 2 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Testaverde finished the day 19 of 29, 187 yards, 1 touchdown that he scored, and he was sacked 6 times. Erickson again. This time it's complete to Mark Carrier. And Hank, what a great job. You know, as Testaverde obviously is a little disappointed, but with this win, the Chargers will have won 6 of their last 7 games.
And especially they lost the first 4, didn't they? That's a terrific comeback.
3rd down and 5. And so the Chargers right now still have their playoff hopes alive with this victory this afternoon.
I think they play the Raiders next week.
Erickson's pass is complete to Ron Hall, and you talk about playing the Raiders. Oh, that's really going to be a heck of a football game next week.
It surely will be. And I think they play the game right here, don't they?
They certainly do. They have the Raiders right here in San Diego, then they go to Phoenix. They have Cincinnati here, the Raiders that's in Los Angeles, and then they finish up in Seattle.
Talked to Bobby Beathard on the field before the game, and they talked to him about, you know, how well his team has been going. He said, well, we'll find out about him as we go off from the second half of the season here. We're 5-5. Let's see if we get any better.
Pass almost intercepted by Darren Carrington. You know, and with having won 6 of 7, you know, Hank, the Chargers really think that they have a legitimate shot at making the playoffs.
And that's where they have to feel, and I think that's the selling job that I think Coach Ross has done on this football team. They believe that they can do that, and if they believe it, why, it's very beneficial.
We have 19 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. 2nd down. Erickson going down the far sidelines. The pass is over the head of Lawrence Dawson. Once again, Darren Carrington defending for San Diego. Now Carrington, Dawson getting into some verbal gestures on the field. Now, while Tampa Bay won last week, losing today, their next 5 games, Green Bay, the Rams, Atlanta, San Francisco, and Phoenix. Now their chore is it's an uphill battle. No.
That's tough. That's really tough. But Sam is on the right track with this football team, and he's going to turn it around. Mr. Culverhouse did a great job of picking him as their football coach.
This is Anthony McDowell. You know, talking about Sam Weiss yesterday. He'll have him back, just like you mentioned. He will. He'll have him back and do a good job with him. And so the final gun has gone off. That is the end of the game. And so for Hank Stram, I'm Jim Hill saying so long from San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, where the final score, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose to the San Diego Chargers 29-14. Coming up on the NFL Today post-game report, Greg and Terry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from today's NFL action. CBS Sports coverage of the NFL will continue right after this.